We welcome you to the MCI Center in downtown Washington, D.C. NCAA basketball continues on CBS. A Big East encounter today, the UConn Huskies against the Georgetown Hoyas. Good afternoon, everybody. Vern Lundquist along with James Worthy. Welcome to a really significant Big East game. And both of these teams, James, feature backcourt play.
They're dominated by the guards. And for UConn, we talked to Jim Calhoun about Khalid Al-Amin last year. He said this guy might be the second most valuable player in the league behind Martin in Cincinnati. And for Georgetown, Kevin Brazel started freshman guard last year. This year, he's much improved, a tenacious defender, and had a big shot against Boston College on Tuesday to give them the win. So he's a big shot maker as well.
Kevin Braswell, the leader of this Georgetown team. Let's check the lineups. It'll be Freeman. Doug Wren, the freshman, gets his first start today. Bosco, Mooring, and El-Amin. Samnick, Watkins, Boomche, Anthony Perry, who is not shooting well, and Kevin Braswell in the backcourt. The referees today, Ted Valentine, Steve Welmer, and Ed Corbett. Georgetown wins the tip as Jameel Watkins goes up, but it's into the hands of Doug Wren. And here comes Khalid El-Amin, number 42.
It should be interesting to see how disruptive the Georgetown defense can be. They're very stingy. They only allow their opponents 34%.
Well, they open with Anthony Perry guarding El-Amin. Here they are left wing. He peers inside where Wren was not available. Here's Albert Mooring. Now Doug Wren off the curl, takes the jumper. First shot is a starter, and it goes in.
Well, Doug Wren's a player. Has a lot of potential, can shoot the jumper, can create his own shot. That time he did a good job of driving right into the teeth of the defense and making something happen.
Well, ironically, they're starting him today for defensive and rebounding purposes, but he opens up with the first shot of the game. Braswell goes left side to Anthony Perry. Jameel Watkins back to Perry. He's had shooting woes, hitting 35% of the season, and he misses his first. Now Kevin Braswell, who came out of a slump himself the other night against Boston College.
And Connecticut starting out in a 2-3 zone with the goalie, Jake Bosco, in the middle. You have to find some gaps. You have to drive the ball, move the ball very well. It's going to be critical for Georgetown as long as Connecticut is in that zone.
Ruben Boomche misses the shot. Air ball. Here's El-Amin. Connecticut with 2 defeats in Big East play already, both at home. Now Doug Wren from Seattle, Washington, guarded by fellow freshman Samnick. Now the entry pass to Bosco, strong move. Over Watkins for 2.
Well, notice the pump fake that really freed him up. He kept the ball up high, and if a big man, you want to see that. You want to see him bring it down where the guards can get to it. There's a steal.
Doug Wren, Mooring underneath, is fouled by Watkins. He'll shoot 2. Let's go back and take a look at the offensive move from Jake Bosco.
Well, Bosco's a great inside player. You take a look at, he keeps the ball way up and gives a good pump fake that really disallowed the defense to get over there, and then he was able to put it up with a lot of authority.
And at the other end, Doug Wren with a steal. A Georgetown turnover. They're averaging 21 per game. And now Albert Mooring at the free throw line.
I'm talking to Jim Calhoun of Connecticut yesterday. He said he really needs to get Mooring involved more in the offense. Not really shooting the ball that well, but he's a good shooter.
Well, he has been particularly deadly from three-point range of late. Gets both free throws, and UConn opens up a quick 6-point lead. Jim Calhoun has his troops employ full court pressure. Now Boomche way outside, gets it in the hands of Braswell.
Having difficulties penetrating this zone early in the game.
Boomche back to Braswell. There's the entry pass to Jameel Watkins, the double from Freeman. And they're back outside. The shot clock at 5. Take the baseline jumper. Perry continues to struggle, and a foul is called on UConn.
Well, UConn just playing some great interior defense on that particular possession. There's Calhoun on the sideline. But UConn did an excellent job on the interior defense, just couldn't gather the defensive rebound.
Foul was called on Wren, his first. Now Perry. Victor Samnick, the freshman, has it rattle around and drop in for the first Georgetown basket.
Most improved player on this team, really improved his outside shot. Productive player, can hit the boards as well.
Loose ball, Wren saves it. And a travel.
Georgetown's defense is tenacious. They will harass you the whole game, and you're always anticipating where they are on the defensive end.
Just a little over a year ago, Craig Esherick handed the reins as John Thompson decided to retire. Three-point play. And Anthony Perry gets his first basket of the afternoon. Elamine. Now Doug Wren. Freeman fouled. Foul is called on Watkins.
Freeman doing an excellent job on the inside. That's his game. Jim Calhoun said he's trying to replace a little bit of Hamilton's game, but he's more of an inside player. That time he demonstrated some good footwork, drop step inside, draw the foul.
Freeman gets the first and shoots one more. Now Estridge goes to his bench. Cortland Freeman and Nate Burton come on. Welcome those of you who watched Duke win again in ACC play. Set a record, as a matter of fact. We're early in this UConn-Georgetown game. And UConn up 7-5. They jumped off to a 6-0 lead. And here's Perry with his second basket as he picks up the loose ball and puts it in. Anthony Perry now with 5 points, and we're tied at 7.
And what a great pass from Boomjay. He had to post up, good pivot, and a great cut by Perry. Boomjay can make the pass from the post.
A 7-1 Georgetown run. Good defense as the freshman Freeman is there, and now the loose ball on the floor. Boomjay. And that is a held ball, and a little fracas breaks out. Cortland Freeman, the freshman from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, was a part of things.
You look at the high end zone of your camera, you're going to see the block. There's some physical play. Freeman goes down, and then there's a scramble for the jump ball. Players all over the place, and a little bit too excited.
Now Bosco's heading to the bench. And Lee Scruggs comes in for Georgetown. Suleiman Wan has come in now for Jake Bosco. And a 7-7 game, early going. So we'll set the 5 on the floor for Georgetown. It's Freeman, Braswell. Anthony Perry has rested. Here's Demetrius Hunter, a freshman. Scruggs, the junior college transfer. And Matt Burton. Here's Burton in the corner. Foul is called. Nope. Offensive foul.
Well, that time Burton really had nowhere to go. He tried to take it into the teeth of the defense and was not able to get close to the rim. An aggressive player with an aggressive play that time drew the charge.
And Jim Calhoun goes to his bench, brings in Edmund Saunders, and Doug Wren, the freshman who got his first start today, will get a rest. So it's Elamine, this is Freeman, Wan, Saunders, and Mooring on the floor for UConn.
Georgetown has gone to their version of the 2-3 zone, something they do a lot of out of the man-to-man.
Elamine misfires, but there with the putback is Suleiman Wan, number 34.
Suleiman Wan, a great rebounder. He shot 54% from the field. Dominated some practices when he wasn't eligible to play.
Almost 5 minutes in, and a 2-point UConn lead. From the outside, Braswell had that big three-pointer at the buzzer to beat Boston College the other night. Strong Georgetown rebounding team, you saw it there. And the follow and the put up Braswell.
But Georgetown won't quit on you. They collectively go out and offensive rebound. They do a good job. Braswell that time getting the long rebound from the guard position.
Juan, low post. Soft jumper, good.
Solomon Juan, when he gets that good deep post position with those jump hooks, it's going to be impossible to stop him. You have to force him to put the ball on the floor.
Georgetown has been a terrible shooting team this year, but they've hit 4 of their first 8 shots. Now Braswell looks back at Craig Esherick. Has received instructions. UConn still in the zone.
Well, the tempo right now is in UConn's game. Georgetown has not been able to dictate the defense, and they're having a hard time penetrating the UConn zone.
Braswell over Mooring, got it.
That's one way to penetrate it, is shooting successfully from the outside, and Braswell has shown that he can do that. Remember in the Boston College game, he hit the winning shot to win the game and also took over the game with some outside big shots.
This is the first Georgetown lead. Here's Elamine taken by Braswell. Braswell feeds it back for the dunk. Lee Scruggs. That's what they want to do.
That's what they want. They want to pick up the tempo on defense because their defense dictates their offense. They have a lot of steals and they capitalize off of it.
Bosco's going to get back on the floor now quickly for UConn. Here's Elamine. He takes a body.
Georgetown does a great job on the defensive end. They do a good job of collapsing to the lane, and you see once they get the turnover, they're off and running as Braswell does a good job of getting the ball back to Scruggs for the highest of percentage shots.
Welcome back to the MCI Center. The only meeting this year between UConn and Georgetown, and an important Big East encounter. UConn has lost twice already, both games at home. Notre Dame and St. John's. And the Hoyas lost their first 3 Big East games, but they've won back-to-back encounters now. Miami and Boston College, and that is going to be a charge taken by Lee Scruggs. No foul. Just out of bounds. So Elamine will inbound. Elamine, Mooring, Bosco back on the floor. Kevin Freeman and Edwin Saunders. Demetrius Hunter goes for the steal, can't get it. Here's Elamine with a jumper. In and out, follow is good. Oh, was it good?
Well, there's Freeman on the boards, and, you know, he's an emotional player. You know, he's had some technical fouls and threw a punch early and had to be disciplined, but he's really calmed down and playing extremely well.
There's a turnover. Here's Freeman. Edmund Saunders, actually, the fellow who got the 2 quick technicals. And Kevin Freeman is actually moved to the 4 position today, power forward. There's a ball on the floor. Jim Calhoun very concerned about defensive rebounding in this game. Aju Deng, who started the last 3 games, has yet to see action in this one. There's Saunders calling for it. And he not only called for it, he got his position and got called for the foul.
Well, he was in that lane for a long time, for 3 seconds, and
over and back. Another Georgetown turnover. That's 4.
Well, that's exactly where you want to try to get the ball when you're being pressed, is in the middle. But that time, Boonje was at half court. See right there, that's a dangerous spot. The trap is on, and he stepped back over.
Jameel Watkins is back on the floor now. Boonje on the bench. 12:35 to go, first half of play. Here's Freeman. Nice pass. Low post, Saunders. Taken away. And a foul was called on Scruggs. Let's take a look at the Big East standings. With Syracuse undefeated so far this year, and on Monday night, UConn goes up to take on Syracuse. Seton Hall, of course, postponed their game scheduled for today because of the tragic fire on campus. Here's Braswell. Nice job of protecting the ball.
There's the defense again, and they're picking up the tempo on the defensive end, forcing UConn into some random style of play, turning the ball over. Georgetown taking it on the fast break. As you see, Scruggs clean out the rebound. Georgetown off and running.
Here's Perry. He's got 5 points so far in the game. Back to Braswell. Bring up 3. Hoyas fell behind 6-0. They have roared back, and they are up by 6.
This is the worst place you can get the ball in a trap because, as you can see, Georgetown does a good job of putting their hands up and taking away the vision. The weak side defense is excellent, stepping in and getting the pass, and then Braswell finishes it off, and that's what Georgetown likes to do, disrupt your offense and capitalize off the turnovers.
Kevin Braswell in double digits now, already with 10 points. He's averaging 16. Came out of a mini slump, as we said, against Boston College. He hit 11 of 18, including the game winner in that win earlier this week. There's Mooring. Here's Elamine. Albert Mooring for UConn.
Good ball movement by UConn that time. They moved the ball around the perimeter, causing the defense to rotate and being able to get up a shot.
Braswell and Perry in the backcourt. Lee Scruggs and Jameel Watkins, and from the corner, that's Victor Samnick, the freshman. The turnaround jumper from Scruggs is good. In their win over Miami the other night, he had 16 first-half points.
And I've got to tell you, for a tall guy, he has a nice shooting touch from Daytona Beach. Started practice December 21st. He rolled for the spring semester, but the junior college player, really excellent touch for a big guy that size.
Nearing midway point in the first quarter.
Good inside play by UConn, capitalizing on Voskuhl's inside play. He really does a good job when he gets the ball inside. You see the shot going up there. Scruggs on the offensive boards, and he has the softest touch in the paint.
Foul was called on Jameel Watkins, his second. That sends Jake Voskuhl to the line. They'll shoot one more. Boomche. And Nat Moore coming back. Nat Burton, I beg your pardon, coming back on the floor for the Georgetown Hoyas. And Edmund Saunders will sit now for Jim Calhoun's bench.
One thing for Jim Calhoun, he has to watch for Coach Escherich's rotation. He brings a lot of guys in and out, and you have to be aware due to matchup problems.
Lane violation here. Now Ted Valentine indicated a lane violation, and then he indicated timeout. 10:43 to go first half. Big East encounter from the MCI Center in downtown Washington, D.C. That was ruled a double lane violation a moment ago, and possession goes to UConn.
Yeah, you don't see too many double lane violations, but apparently both a UConn player and Georgetown player were in there simultaneously, and UConn gets the basketball. I would think that'd be a jump ball as opposed to turn it over to the other team.
There's the ball on the floor, and a Georgetown takeaway. There's Braswell. He's in double digits already. Picked up by Tony Robertson, the freshman guard. Robertson, good defense. Lee Scruggs has it now way outside.
UConn has gone through their version of the tough man-to-man defense. They've come out of the zone with Voskuhl out of the middle.
And a foul away from the ball. CBS Sports Line will deliver the latest sports news and information to you via CBS Sports Line. Perry, entry pass to Boomche, and Suleiman Wan provides a defensive force. Turnover, Georgetown. That's 5.
Excuse me, Vern. Suleiman Wan did an excellent job of pushing Boomshay out. Now, Boomshay has problems when he has to put the ball on the floor. Now, as long as he's close, he can shoot the jump hook. But as you can see there, really having a hard time handling the ball when he has to dribble a couple times.
Khalid El-Amin comes back on the floor for Albert Mooring now. And it's Robertson, the freshman. El-Amin trying to fight out. And he is followed by Matt Burton. Now Doug Wren, freshman from Seattle. Strong move. Too strong to travel.
Well, one thing about Wren, he can play either big guard or small forward. Does a good job of putting the ball on the floor. That time took a little bit too much steps on that one.
Here's Braswell with Robertson on him. Burton in the corner. Cortland Freeman, another freshman. Here's Boomshay. Kicks it back outside. Burton is fouled. Sunday on 60 Minutes, out of the 36-year-old. Suleiman Wan gets the rebound, puts it in the hands of El-Amin, who's looking for his first field goal this afternoon. Nice move by Robertson. Does not get the roll, and he will go to the free throw line. Foul is on Braswell. Auburn only one defeat this year, trailing Ole Miss. Duke won again today. They're playing very well, James.
Duke is playing very well. The defense has picked up Carrawell leading the way along with Battier, and Coach K's got a definite contender down there in Durham.
And Purdue leading Indiana by 8 in the first half. Oklahoma State is having a terrific season. Tony Robertson shoots one more. Freshman from East Providence, Rhode Island. Now Cortland Freeman, Demetrius Hunter's come on the floor for Georgetown. Freeman has it. And Braswell, there's a mismatch. Ajo Deng in for the first time today. And Deng tries to get away from Braswell. That's not the defensive matchup you want.
Right now, UConn playing a little man-to-man, and Georgetown couldn't penetrate the zone, and now they're having a hard time, getting 15 feet inside. And when they do, UConn doing an excellent job with Juan clogging up the middle.
Now Juan picks up his second foul. He'll also get a rest period now. Bosco back in. Braswell, that's for 2.
Well, he's a shooter. He's a shot maker, left-hander, a little bit unorthodox.
El-Amin gets the pass to Bosco. Take a look at Braswell's shot.
There's a great play out of bounds. Braswell coming off the pick, catch and shoot guy.
Unfortunately, Braswell picked up his second foul, and Jake Bosco goes to the line. That's the 7th team foul.
Yeah, Bosco's tough. He will not be denied position. Jake gets in there and holds his position and knows how to keep that ball alive when he gets it straight to the cup.
Cans the first, shoots one more. Albert Mooring back on for Robertson now for UConn. And Bosco shoots one more.
He's got to be concerned about Braswell in foul trouble. Well, he's got 2 with 8 minutes to go. You don't want to lose him early with a third foul.
They try and trap him.
Good job on the penetration by Braswell. And this is how you break a trap. You keep the ball alive. You don't pick it up. Not a good job of securing the trap. And Braswell, with good ball fix all the way to the basket, looking people off, was able to get it off the glass, and he's at the line shooting 2. You take a look, 12 points and 2 assists.
El-Amin called for the foul, and Braswell shoots one more from the free throw line. As we said, this is the only meeting. Of course, only 16 conference games in Big East play now. For the moment, So each team has 4 sets of home and home, and then they play 4 road games against separate opponents and 4 at home. So because of the scheduling, this is the only meeting between these 2 teams.
Yeah, there's Braswell going to the bench with 2 fouls, replaced by Perry. So Esherick doesn't want to take any chances on losing his igniter on the floor. Braswell.
Hunter now on El Amin. Back outside, Ajo Deng. He's not shy about taking that. He's hit 3 of them this year.
He's got a good touch from behind the arc and not afraid to put it up.
Now Hunter. He's guarded by Mooring. A jump stop. The follow from Freeman not there. Bosco clears it for UConn. 8 to go in the first half. Now Hunter picks up Mooring. Anthony Perry, nice fake by El Amin. He'll shoot 2.
Now that's a veteran move right there. A play designed from a lot of experience. El Amin behind the arc, I believe, or inside the arc with a good pump fake. You see, he threatens with the drive, then backs up, little step back, pump fake, gets Perry in the air. That's the cardinal sin. You don't want to leave your feet on a pump fake.
Junior from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Jim Calhoun telling us yesterday he thinks Khalid El Amin is the 2nd most valuable player to a team of anybody in the country. Kenyon Martin of Cincinnati, he said he thought was a little more, just trying to give us some context.
Well, those 2 players really enhance the players around them, and they are both great leaders. And Khalid El Amin is just really matured in that aspect.
El Amin fouled in the process of taking a 3-pointer, shoots 1 more. Ajo Deng heads to the bench. El Amin cuts the lead to 2. Georgetown up by 2, and one of the concerns that Craig Esherick had, not just in this game but throughout the season, shot selection and shooting percentage. And James Worthy, they're at 50%, and they've got the expected rebound edge right now.
Yeah, they've had some offensive woes, but tonight they look like they're trying to take care of that. The big thing for Georgetown is the turnovers as well, taking care of the ball and controlling the possessions when they have it.
They have only turned it over 5 times, and this is a team that has had turnover difficulty in almost every game, averaging 21 turnovers per. So we'll see if they can. How about UConn hit 60% on the road, and they're down by 2.
Yeah, that's strange shooting a high percentage like that. Not only means that Georgetown is capitalizing on the turnovers that UConn has made, and they're also have been able to tip in a few offensive rebounds as well. So you can shoot a high percentage, but you have to take care of their other categories, or else it's void.
Now Kevin Braswell back on the floor. Mooring will defend him. Bosco out on. Oh, there's a pick from Boomjay. Underneath, nice empty pass. Boomjay, but Bosco's there defensively and grabs the rebound. Now El Amin
did a good job of collapsing on Boomjay. When he gets it there, he's not able to go over Bosco.
Wow, Demetrius Hunter.
That's kind of physical.
Yes. Technical foul.
Jim Calhoun is not going to let that one go. That was the exact same move that El Amin used before. That drew the foul, the little pump fake, and then contact with the body. That time there was no call right in front of the referee. Here it is again. You see the pump fake. There's the contact. I can say that Calhoun doesn't have something to argue about on that one.
Well, among other things, Jim Calhoun ill today. He missed yesterday's practice and the day before. Viral infection. He is, remember last year, here's the technical taken by Braswell. In the first round of the NCAAs last year in Denver, when UConn faced UT San Antonio, Jim had stomach problems and had to miss that game. And there was a little bit of a question about his ability to stay on the bench today.
Yeah, I felt really sorry taking up 10 minutes of his time yesterday when we went over to speak to him. He really looked like he was and a lot of pain and uncomfortable feeling.
14 years at Northeastern, now in his 14th year at UConn. Braswell kicks it out. Demetrius Hunter. Now the trap with Voskuhl into the corner. Samnick gets it in the hands of Freeman off the iron. And here comes UConn.
Good penetration by Braswell, but he better be careful not to pick up his third foul. Did a good job of splitting the double team trap.
Edmund Saunders back on the floor for UConn. It's Mooring, Freeman who has the ball right now. Saunders, Voskuhl, and Elamine. From the corner, Mooring in and out. Foul called on Victor Samnick. And that might be a three. Yep, it is.
Mourning was a spark off the bench last year as a starter. Has twice scored 22 points this year against Duke and Pittsburgh, and really hot from behind the arc. There's the line right there. You can see he's behind the line, and that's going to be 3 shots.
Mooring gets the first, shoots 2 more.
5 of 8 threes against Duke. 4 or 5 threes against Pittsburgh, so you have to be aware of Mourning when he's on the floor.
Scruggs is back on. And Anthony Perry will come on for Georgetown as well. Look at the disparity in trips to the line so far.
That just goes to show you that UConn is really getting the ball on the interior and getting some high percentage shots and some great looks at the basket to be able to get to the line.
We're tied. Good job of positioning down low. Voskuhl is there. And Boomche is over the top and picks up the foul. That's his second.
And Voskuhl is fired up on his good defensive play. Look at how Voskuhl wrestles and works hard. He disallows the primary entry. They have to go over the top. Boom Boom has nowhere to go. He's under the basket. With Voskuhl's big size, he's happy. The goalie, they call Voskuhl. The goalie because of his presence in the middle. Great shot blocker as well.
And Mooring goes to the free throw line. This is the 10th team foul. 5 of 5 at the line for Mooring now. Still perfect. UConn back on top. A 10-3 UConn lead. And a 6-point Georgetown lead has disappeared. Braswell. Little runner too strong. Voskuhl clears it. Kicks it. Puts it in the hands of Elamine now.
The momentum has clearly changed over to Connecticut. The tempo in their favor now as Freeman takes one from the perimeter.
Chased down by Nat Burton in the corner for Georgetown. And Braswell says we'll slow it down. 5:40 to go, first half. Scruggs. Nope. Burton, offensive board. Saunders called for the foul. That's his first.
There is nothing more demoralizing to your defense when you play good defense and then give up an offensive rebound.
He's back at the free throw line. As James told you, he just became eligible for the spring semester. Started practicing with his team, having left Daytona Beach Community College in late December. He's a thin one.
Yeah, could use a little bit of weight room exercise, but boy, with that soft touch, and you know, it's deceptive because he's a little skinny, but he's actually stronger than he looks.
6 points and 3 rebounds now. Craig Esherick said after his first practice here he could move his belongings permanently to the weight room. 5:10 to go. Thrown away by Saunders. 7 UConn turnovers, and this is really significant. Only 6 for Georgetown so far.
Very significant. That's one of the problems that they've had offensively, is turning the ball over, not taking care of their possession, and they're giving UConn trouble with their mixing up of the defensive now.
Here's Jameel Watkins and Scruggs. Hunter, up and under, no. Rebound, Freeman. Nice ball movement. Albert Mooring. Braswell's back. He's got 2 fouls, and he has to give way. And there is Saunders with the offensive putback, and he goes to the free throw line.
Yeah, that was a very close call by Braswell in there. But Saunders, I mentioned earlier that Freeman had some emotional problems. It was actually Edmund Saunders was the player who had some technical fouls earlier in the year and threw an elbow at a Houston game. And Coach Calhoun had to discipline him, and he's calmed down and really started to come into his own now.
Gets the first of 2. Beginning third. 4:45 to go. UConn up by 2. Perry. Cross court to Braswell. There's the trap. Back to Braswell. Nice look underneath as Jameel Watkins goes up, having received the pass, and he'll get 2.
The thing about Braswell is he's very difficult to trap. He knows how to split the trap. As you see, he leaves the Connecticut defenders behind, and then when he makes the defense react to his drives, he's able to pass it off to Watkins, who's at the line shooting 2.
This is not a good free throw shooting team, and Watkins, symbolic of that, he's hitting 50% for the year. That's the first of 2. 19 of 38 prior to today's game. As a team, Georgetown at the line, 64%.
That's not good. You'd like to be up in the 70% percentile somewhere. You don't find players, and it's not the coach's fault per se, because I know coaches make their players shoot free throws, but sometimes it's up to the player to give just that little extra 10 minutes, 15 minutes on his own to kind of get his ritual together so it becomes automatic at the free throw line.
Watkins hits both, and we're tied again. 4:28 to go, first half. Full court pressure applied by Hunter. Now Burton out on Tony Robertson, the freshman. Robertson looks underneath, looks for the screen from Bosco. Pick and roll, Bosco gets it back. Nice pass underneath, too deep. Saunders was almost directly under the basket.
Good ball movement by the UConn basketball players that time. They really moved the ball around, and Jake Bosco did the right thing when he got it. Instead of passing it around the perimeter, he penetrated, found Saunders underneath. He'll be shooting 2.
Watkins picks up his 3rd. And Edmund Saunders back at the free throw line.
Well, Edmund Saunders really contributed in the NCAA last year. 7 points, 5 rebounds, and set out his freshman year because he had to concentrate on some academics. But UConn's front court reserve last year and really stepped up this year to solidify that position.
How about this? That is the 21st free throw taken. They're 18 of 22 at the line.
Yeah, when you're the aggressor going to the basket, you're going to get some fouls. If you're going to stand down on the perimeter and shoot jumpers, the referees aren't going to look at that as a foul situation.
Braswell took it right-handed. Now UConn wants to run. Nice feed to Bosco.
Georgetown taking some random shots, and they don't have the defensive balance. UConn's able to get the ball out with 1, 2, 3 quick passes, and they're getting the high percentage shot with Bosco finishing strong.
Marcus Cox is on the floor now, number 50, freshman. And he's guarding Braswell. There's another Georgetown turnover. That's 7.
As I mentioned, Georgetown taking the wild shots. UConn capitalizing, getting the ball out quickly. 1, 2, 3, and it's over.
Fine, and they've gotten a 3-point lead now with 3:21 to go.
12 News Special Report.
Left side. Elamine. He's still looking for his first field goal of the ballgame. Now Voskuhl, who has 6 points, 4 rebounds. Nice entry pass. Boy, that was terrific.
Oh, what a great high-low moves. Step in. Jake Voskuhl making the pass inside to Edmund Sanders, establishing good position. All he had to do was drop step off the glass.
There's Scruggs, and Saunders takes a shot at it. Now he's at the other end from Elamine's pass. Mooring. Underneath, Saunders. Voskuhl got away with a little bit of an elbow, and perhaps a travel. And is fouled in the process.
Boy, he returns the favor. Saunders returns the favor to Voskuhl, and Voskuhl knows how to finish it. Good inside play by both big men for UConn as they dominate the inside. As you see, Saunders making the interior pass, and that's a strong move by the big fella. There's the pass from Voskuhl inside to Saunders. Kiss it off the glass.
Right now, let's take a look at our Applebee's tournament favorite in the 19...
And strength coach for Georgetown, so it's good to reunite with some history.
Voskuhl completes the three-point play. Ed Spriggs thrilled when you said yesterday he looked like he'd lost a little weight.
Ed Spriggs was a powerhouse back then, boy. Big power forward.
Perry, Braswell. Samnick. .209 to go in the first half of play. Wrestling match, loose ball. Voskuhl has been both a physical and emotional leader in this half.
Well, right now, he's struck the key in the ignition, and he's turned it on for UConn because the last 5 minutes, it's been all Jake Voskuhl on the defensive end and the offensive end, blocking shots, making passes, and also delivering some points as well.
And he told us just 30 minutes before the game that defensively they've been having real problems. There's the runner. Robertson gets 2 more.
Yeah, anytime you lose at home, as UConn did against St. John's, that's definitely defense and something that he was concerned about. And as a leader of his ball club, he's taking care of business here this afternoon.
A 10-zip run has given UConn its first double-digit lead. Scruggs. Hello.
That is a soft touch.
Whoa.
Leaning back. I don't care how skinny he is, boy. You can push him around, but he is going to fade away. He must be a pretty good pool shooter because he has touch, cutting the ball in the basket. There he is. Now, he loves this post-up, 10 feet away, puts it on the floor, finds the body, uses the body, actually, to help get his rhythm together, and then releases it with the softness.
Lee Scruggs with 8 points now for Georgetown. Here's Voskuhl guarded by Scruggs. Elamine, pump fake, finds Voskuhl, gets it back, and comes back to reload. Nearing 1 minute to go in the first half. Voskuhl, offensive foul. It's called on Voskuhl. Coming up, Lee Scruggs, Franklin, North Carolina, by way of Daytona Beach Community College. Had that marvelous first half against Miami, game before last when he had 16 at the break. And a very strong first half today. Voskuhl sits.
Yeah, UConn not found the answer to Scruggs yet because he's a post-up player, can face you up, back you down. Gonna be a problem.
6-point margin. That one's off the toe and kicked out of bounds by Georgetown.
Jim Calhoun also has to be concerned about how Georgetown has been able to contain Khalid Al-Amin. He's not been a factor in the offensive end, but he's still leading this ball club. His team has a lot of leaders. Jake Voskuhl's been inspirational as well, and Saunders has led the way.
And a foul away from the ball.
Double pick by Freeman and Saunders, and that's a tough pick to get around as Morning came off the down screen. He's at the line.
Matt Burton picks up the foul, and Mooring goes to the line. Braswell getting ready to check back in for Georgetown. Braswell back in, and Anthony Perry will take a seat. Look at the disparity in the free throws. 20 of 23 for UConn at the line. And we were talking about that 70% average. They, as a team, are at 71%, so well above that today.
Yeah, when they get to the line, they usually take care of knocking them down, but they're just doing a great job of getting inside the defense of the Hoyas.
Too strong as Scruggs went up, and it's out of Samnick it was. This one off of UConn and will be inbounded by Georgetown. Shot clock off, 28 seconds to go, first half. Braswell. Saunders has Scruggs. And the Hoyas will play for the final shot.
Well, you can look for Braswell to try to break down the defense. Here comes a pick and roll with Scruggs.
Try it again. Braswell kicks it back. Samnick has it. Takes the leader in and out. A 12-2 UConn run in the last 4 minutes of the first half. And that is the end of the first half with our score. The Huskies 42, Georgetown 30. James spoke of the free throw line. 21 of 24 to 9 of 10. Kevin Braswell started strong, and he has 15 points at the break.
Yeah, he's been the only bright spot for Georgetown, and he doesn't need much space right there. If you're going to lay off on him, he'll knock it down. Then he runs off of these picks with jumpers, and then he's an assist guy, very unselfish. Watch how he hesitates and gets the ball back to Scruggs, who really finishes strong for Georgetown.
And Khalid El Amin, 3 points, all from the free throw line, only 1 assist so far. So in the battle of backcourt, the statistical edge certainly goes to Georgetown, but they trail by 8.
And it really shows how great a coach Calhoun is to have his star player not really scoring or contributing in the points, but to still have the cohesiveness and the poise of leadership by players like Bosco and Sanders stepping up to the plate.
Braswell picked up by Mooring. Here's Anthony Perry, had a quick 5 to open the game and has been silent since. Nice pass underneath to Bunche, but there's Bosco. They kick it out to Perry, who misfires. And Edmund Saunders opens on the floor in the second half. He had 13 minutes in the first half off the bench.
And Bunche, unlike Bosco, does not hold his position. So when he receives the ball, he's so far under the basket that he can't do anything with it. There's a big difference between what Bosco is doing, is pinning his man and holding on.
Terrific pass from Saunders back to Kevin Freeman. And Freeman picks up the foul. He'll go to the free throw line.
And take a look, a side out of bounds play. Great cut by Freeman to the hole. His defender had his back turned to him, and he was savvy on that play. As soon as he threw it in, he cut to the basket, fouled. Now he's at the line with 2 shots.
And Nate Burton quickly picks up his 3rd foul. So Kevin Freeman shoots 1 more.
Just a solid player, you know, really great friends with Hamilton last year on that championship team, and had a little problem, you know, trying to replace Hamilton instead of playing his own game.
How about the pump fake to El Amin? He misses again, but boy, did he have patience on that shot.
Yeah, when are they going to learn? I mean, that's 3 times he's had successful pump fakes. One, he got fouled on one. They missed the foul, but that seems to be a move of his.
El Amin is drawing the donut from the field. He's 0 for 5 so far. Now Braswell. Underneath, Bunche will go to the free throw line.
Great cut. Georgetown did a good job of spreading the floor that particular time, and then Bunche coming down the middle. That little defense on the perimeter allows gaps within the UConn defense. That time Boom Boom found one. I want to call him Boom Boom so bad. Bunche. Sounds like an R&B song.
Boomche from Yaoundé, Cameroon, originally, and a junior now. 19 to go. Here's Bosco. Had a big first half. Elamine, little skip. Off the glass, first field goal of the game.
And we can't keep him down, and that's what he does so well. He will find the gaps within the defense, and when he gets there, he's such a great finisher with both hands.
Into the corner. Burton, there's Boomche over Bosco. Nice shot. Picks up the foul as well.
Well, Bosco had the vertical hands up. As you see, the hands are straight up, but he leaned in just a little bit, created the contact. And on the other end, earlier, Alamine, mean to the basket, using the left hand in the land of the Giants, getting his shot over the top of the fingertips.
Jake Bosco picks up his third foul and a seat on the bench. Suleiman Wan takes his spot, and Boomche tries to get the conventional three-point play.
Yeah, Boomche is a player that really hadn't maximized his footwork yet. Still working on it, though, and he needs to have the low position. That time he had a soft turnaround jump shot over Bosco.
Albert Mooring into the hands of Elamine. Braswell picks him up defensively. Edmund Saunders. They look underneath for one. Boomche guarding him. Now Suleiman Wan. Up and over and got it.
Suleiman Wan doing a good job of turning into the paint. Pretty good pump fake. He played his first full year last year. It was a big factor in the wins over Syracuse and St. John in the Big East tournament last year. Also did a good job against Duke in the NCAA championship.
Boomche with an answer at the other end. 47-40. Elamine guarded by Braswell. And Braswell got behind, went for the steal, couldn't get it. Elamine cashes in.
Yeah, Elamine said, look, if you're going to reach, I'm going to teach that you can't do that. And he's a type of player that, you know, you can keep him down for some time, but he can run off some big points in such a matter of time. There's Boomche establishing himself with the jump hook. He hit the turnaround jumper before, that time the little jump hook.
Margin at 7, 17-20 to go. UConn trying to win its 13th in a row on the road in the Big East. Their two losses this year have come home. St. John's and Notre Dame. Here's Saunders. Jump hook. Nice soft play by Edmund Saunders. He has had a very strong game.
And ever since he's calmed down and started to play within himself, getting rid of the anger and frustration, he's very productive. 7
points and 4 rebounds for Saunders. This foul called on Georgetown. And Auburn defeated today by Ole Miss in overtime. So Chris Porter and the bunch pick up their second defeat of the year.
Coach Ellis doing a good job down in Auburn for a football school to have such a successful basketball program.
Spoken like a Tar Heel.
You picked that up, huh?
And listen, do you want to discuss the North Carolina defeat today?
Well, you know, we're just not that good. I'm going to go ahead and say it. You know, we got some good players, but struggling a little bit right now. Coach got you to pull them together, though.
Elamine for 3. Georgetown timeout. Colin Elamine into double digits with this three-pointer. He's got 10. Wren, the freshman from Seattle, who started but played only 5 minutes in the first half. Saunders came on and played well.
Georgetown really needs to depend on their stingy defense now. Try to stop some of the bleeding. UConn executing well.
That one comes down. And the foul is called on Cortland Freeman, number 21. Freshman out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. 12-point game.
Alameen just looked over at a table and gave us an eyeful. Anytime a player looks at the announcers and the analysts, that means he's getting ready to do something. Wants us to talk about it because he gave us an eyeful over here at the table.
Here he is off the pick. Nice pass. There you go.
Assist. There he gives it the look again.
That's great.
You gotta love it. Solomon Juan on the recipient of that pass from Alameen.
14-point margin.
Yeah, I know that because I remember looking over here quite a few times myself as a player.
You were just trying to find raftery.
Yeah. Throw me up. Throw me up.
Time has been called. UConn on a 9-2 run.
The reasons why UConn is getting successful shots, you see the pick and roll slip by Solomon Juan, but good ball movement by UConn, making sure everyone gets a little touch.
And travel. That's 9 Georgetown turnovers. Ajo Deng is back on the floor for only the second time. He picked up 1 minute in the first half of play. He wears number 4. Elamine Braswell out top of the key. There's the pick from Deng and the jumper from Elamine. And UConn has taken control.
It's take control time now, and that is the maturation process that I talked about earlier with Khalid Alameen. I mean, you can contain him for a portion of the ball game, but he's savvy and smart, and eventually will pick and choose his spots, penetrating the zone that time successfully.
Lace guards. Another nice soft touch from the 6'11", 215-pounder. UConn at the other end. There's a trap on the baseline, and they find the open man. Rin is blocked.
By
Braswell.
Yeah,
Yes.
Braswell doing everything. There's a shot from behind the arc. It's off.
Tried to use the scrug screen. Here comes Elamine. He's hit his last 4 shots. And he picks up a foul, this time with the penetration. With the conclusion of today's game, we'll select the Chevrolet.
Alameen, we're thinking the same thing here, Vern. He's such a creator, such a smart player. That particular time, I don't really think he was looking to score. He was just looking for a body to find, to make contact so that he could get to the line, and he's done just that.
Elamine will shoot one more. Was scoreless from the field in the first 20 minutes of play. Has hit his last 4 field goals and now trying to add from the free throw line.
You mentioned Jim Calhoun, as Alameen knocks down his second free throw, mentioned that he was the second most valuable player to a team behind Martin in Cincinnati, and that's one of the reasons why, the ability to take over a game and recognize when you're needed.
Braswell on the river. Under 15 to go in the ball game. Braswell with the drive, and Elamine picks up the foul.
And this is a good time for Georgetown to try to attack the middle with Jake Voskuhl out of the game, although Solomon Juan is a pretty good defensive player himself.
Entry pass stripped by Deng at the other end. Here's Elamine. Why not? Why not?
He's an entertainer. He's casual, charismatic, and he loves to get into the crowd.
That was terrific.
Talk about unselfish play. He had a wide open layup, threw it off the glass. Boom!
That's worth another look.
Yeah, see, now this is entertainment. This is theater on the basketball court. Alameen has a layup, throws it off the glass. Rin finishes strong.
15-point UConn lead now, 13:46 to go in this one. And a 15-2 UConn run in the last 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah, the offensive woes continue for Georgetown because they are not executing well on the half-court plays. They're doing well on transition, but when that is cut off, they aren't executing, and they are unable to get the offensive rebounds that they are accustomed to.
Boomche went up for the layup, and Doug Wren picked up his third foul. So I was just watching Elamine. He walked over, instead of going back and getting a towel from his own bench, he just went over and grabbed one off the Georgetown pile.
You got to love this guy. I mean, talking about passion for your sport. I mean, he loves to practice. He's a leader, a serious guy, but charismatic on the floor. Loves to have fun out there. He didn't want to have a boring ball game. And I want to walk all the way back to his own bench. And there's a towel right there from Georgetown. That's literally rubbing it in a little bit.
Boomche. Elamine picks it up for UConn. This is a UConn team that opened the season with a shocking loss to Iowa, came back, beat Duke. And that foul on Demetrius Hunter. And Elamine has led the way. They also have a very significant win over Arizona. And a little shockingly lost at home to Notre Dame. I don't think so shockingly to St. John's. St. John's has proven themselves to be a quality team.
You know, we're talking to Coach Calhoun yesterday. You know, he understands good teams. Arizona's good. You're on the road. I think the thing that concerns him the most is losing at home. That's when he's a little bit concerned, and not playing the consistent defense at home.
Averaging 18 points, leading the team in assists and steals, and second in three-point field goal percentage. Junior now from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
And Georgetown's going to have to find a way, either pick up a four-court press or three-quarter press, but they're going to have to find a way to get the ball out of Khalid Alamine's hands, because he's looking to control the last 13 minutes of this ball game.
Well, he's going to get a rest now.
There's a way to control him. Shut him down.
Tony Robertson, number 32, the freshman from East Providence, Rhode Island, is on the floor. Looks like they're tending to some kind of injury to his left hand. Elamine, that is. Here's Robertson. Kicks it left side. Ajo Deng. Nice baseline move, but he was a little too quick, Kevin Freeman. Family Law, Monday on CBS.
Jake Bosco out of the game. Alamine out of the game. This is a prime opportunity for Georgetown to chip away at this lead right now with two leaders on the bench for UConn, as Braswell knocks down the 17-footer.
Braswell with a quick start, then cooled down in the latter part of the first half. 12:40 to go in the break. Here's Robertson, the freshman, Rem, the freshman, Albert Mooring, and Kevin Freeman. Mooring with the quick jumper. Got it for three. He has been deadly the last 3.5 games from three-point range.
And he's had some big three-point games this year against Duke and Pittsburgh. He was 5 of 8 against Duke, and then 4 of 5 against Pittsburgh. In both games, he scored 22 points, so he's an explosive scorer.
Victor Samnick, the freshman, retrieves the missed shot. Now Braswell. Into the lane, got it.
Good penetration. And one thing about a lead, you just got to chip away at it. You're not going to get it back right away, but it's going to have to take place on the defensive end for Georgetown if they're going to get back into this. UConn being able to get the shots that they want here this afternoon.
Mooring with a miss. Long rebound into the hands of Braswell. 4-on-2 break. Good defensive job by Robertson. Off the pick from Boomche. Rebound into the hands of Deng, but then Braswell takes it away. There's the shot blocking ability.
And then Braswell says, I'm not going to try this again. Once is enough. But Suleiman Juan, great shot blocker. A little thin, could use some weight room himself, but good timing on his shot blocking.
Foul is called on Ajo Deng. CBS Sports coverage of NCAA men's basketball will continue after this message and a word from your local station. That's a quick segue.
Yeah.
Boomche at the line.
Somebody taping the game at home. They love that quick commercial.
There's one. He'll shoot one more. Reese Gibson's going to come on now, the senior for Georgetown, replacing Braswell. First appearance in the game, number 32. And Boomche shoots one more.
Reese Gibson, known as the closer, co-captain, because he's very poised, very patient, doesn't turn the ball over.
Now then, 13 second half points for Khalid El-Amin. He's got 16 in the game. Mourning with 15, 9 of those from the free throw line. And now El-Amin back on the floor with 11:10 to go in this ball game. Jim Calhoun telling us last night this is not a critical game for the UConn Huskies, but significant. Especially with Syracuse coming up Monday night. There's a block. Demetrius Hunter takes the jumper inside the arc. Oh no! They gave him 3 on that one. That's a 3-point play. I thought his foot was on the line.
Well, Demetrius Hunter, he's a very explosive athlete. You know, one of those athletes that can play just about any sport. Plays 3 positions. That time he knocked it down.
Back it goes to El-Amin. Gets the pick from Suleiman Wan. Up in the air. Kept alive into the hands of Georgetown's Reese Gibson. Hoyas on a 7-0 run as we near the midway point of the second half. Scruggs. Not there. Offensive board, Watkins, 3-pointer. Yes!
Two in a row from Demetrius Hunter.
A 20-point lead has been cut in half. Now it's 5. Way outside. Nope. Offensive board, chased down by Freeman, saves it. But he was on the line.
That was a good defensive call out of the timeout for Georgetown, going to the zone, kind of eliminated Khalid El-Amin from getting inside the gap. That time they had trouble with the shot clock running down, turned the ball over.
Braswell and Hunter, along with Scruggs, Boomche, and Matt Burton on the floor for Georgetown. Scruggs for 3. Hunter on the floor, off his foot. Turnover, Georgetown.
Georgetown getting some good looks at it. And eventually he hoped to knock those down, but Demetrius Hunter very active on the floor as we see Voskuhl coming back in the ball game for
Suleiman Wan.
Suleiman.
And Tony Robertson, the freshman guard, is also on the floor. Craig Esrick hoping his team can get this down to single digits. Under 9 to go. Pick from Voskuhl, shot from El-Amin. And it's cleared by Nat Burton. He gets it in Braswell's hands. Robertson back defensively on Braswell.
Braswell breaking down from the top of the key.
And a big rebound by Voskuhl.
Unsuccessfully, though. And Voskuhl maintaining his position on Scruggs, making his impact known right away as he enters the game.
That's the 3rd foul today. 8 o'clock, 7 Central on CBS. Way outside, 3-pointer for Robertson.
Well, UConn is giving what Georgetown is taking. They haven't been able to penetrate that zone. That time, Tony Robinson found the touch from outside.
7 points for Robertson. Offensive foul. Braswell picks up his 3rd.
Well, Braswell right now is trying a little bit too hard to take things on his own. He's a creator, of course, but you have to recognize the defense you're going up against. and try to distribute the basketball instead of trying to make something or forcing something to happen by penetrating into the deep teeth of the defense.
Craig Esherick goes to his bench. Scruggs comes out, and Cortland Freeman, the 6'9" freshman, is on the floor. 8 minutes remaining. A 13-point margin now, and Elamine strolls across the timeline.
Georgetown in that point zone. Look for Jake Voskuhl to set the picks up high to try to free up Khalid Alameen.
Voskuhl calls for it, gets it, kicks it back outside. Robertson off the dribble. Baseline jumper, no. Rebound, Georgetown. Braswell. Hunter calls for the ball, gets it in the lane. Nope, Voskuhl, another rebound. Here comes UConn. They'll run. What a pass. And a foul at the other end as Freeman went up for the dunk.
Can't tell you the precision on the pass from Alameen. I mean, that was a perfect pass right over the fingertips. See, he didn't throw it very high, but he threw it soft enough just to get over the top. Didn't break Freeman's flow to the basket. Catch and right to the hole. Good strong take. He'll be shooting 2 shots.
Kevin Freeman, kind of a quiet game today. 4 points, 2 rebounds. That's not kind of, that's very quiet. Averaging 11.
Kind of goes along with his personality. He's a very quiet guy. He's earned World University a gold medal for playing over in Spain and named UConn Scholar Athlete for 2 years in a row, a political science major. So it's kind of mellow.
No, substitution disallowed. And Kevin Freeman shoots one more. He and his teammates were here at the MCI Center last night to watch their former teammate, Rip Hamilton, as the Washington Wizards defeated the Indiana Pacers. Time has been called. 18-point UConn margin. They have shot well from the field, as you see, 57%. And 4 of 10 from three-point range. Alameen coming alive here in the second half to lead the Huskies with 16 points. And he's back on the floor now. Demetrius Hunter guarded by Alameen. Victor Samnick, Cortland Freeman, Braswell, and Boomche for the Hoyas. In the lane travel. And 14 Georgetown turnovers in the game.
Yeah, Boomche was surprised as he turned to the basket, not knowing where the defense was coming from. Was shocked. Caused him to turn the ball over with the travel.
UConn trying to even its Big East record at 2-2. And a reach-in foul called on Samnick. His third. Let's take a look at the CBS Sportsline stat of the game. Let's go to the free throw line, where Connecticut is 28 of 32. Georgetown shooting well. They just have had half the opportunities. And that, for complete stats, go to the cbs.sportsline.com.
Well, UConn has been in the paint all night with Saunders and Voskuhl, and they've been able to get good high percentage shots, and that's why they've been able to get to the line, because they're taking it to the hole, getting fouled, and they have been the aggressor all night. Meanwhile, Georgetown is a long way from their field goal percentage defense of 34%.
Yeah, good point. They're second in the country in field goal defense by percentage. And today, UConn hitting above 55%. Back it goes to Scruggs. And a foul out on the top on Freeman. Well, the third game of our triple header, NCAA basketball on CBS. Ohio State against St. John's from Madison Square Garden. That's coming up next on these CBS stations. And a quick reminder that tomorrow the AFC Championship game from Jacksonville, the Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars meet for the right to go to the Super Bowl. That's on CBS. Beginning with the NFL today. Well, Jim Calhoun in his 14th season talking about what was wrong with his team yesterday. And he suddenly paused about 15 minutes in the conversation. He says, listen to me, I sound like we're 3-12 instead of 12-3.
Always concerned, even when you're winning. And for a coach who was almost near death yesterday with that flu, he's really coming here this afternoon and coached his UConn basketball teams to a beautiful game here with 6:45 left in the game.
Here's Elamine. Pressure applied. Anthony Perry.
When I say no deaf, I just mean he's really sick.
Yes, you were
For those who
speaking euphemistically. 16-point game. 6:28 to go. Blocked. Georgetown. They've won 2 games in succession in the Big East. Nice pass by Kevin Braswell underneath. That's off Elamine, and it got a stinger on his right hand.
Going to see this ball come off of Alamine's finger, and I know what that feels like. It's a quick hit and kind of hyperextend your finger, boy. That really hurts the tip.
Foul was on Mooring. That's his 3rd. And Nate Burton goes to the free throw line. Burton gets the first. It was January 8th a year ago that John Thompson decided to step down and relinquish his head coaching responsibilities. Greg Eschrick, who had been his assistant for 17 years, took over that day. Chatting with him yesterday, and he said you can't imagine how much easier it's been this time, the full season, than it was a year ago. The month of January, he had commitments from 5 different athletes, many of whom all of whom you've seen on the floor today. And he felt like he had a responsibility. Here's a foul on Braswell to go back because of the coaching change and chat with each of the young men. So he made trips to Pittsfield, Maine, Las Vegas, Nevada, South Carolina, and Florida, just to make sure that the young men he had recruited were still committed to play at Georgetown.
And that was during the same time he was trying to win some basketball games, too. He also had lots of meeting with the administration here at Georgetown. Busy guy last January.
Robertson at the line. And Braswell has picked up his 4th foul. Not good news. Craig Eschrick and his wife are both graduates at Georgetown Law. He's got his law degree, but decided to go into coaching some years ago. He's a graduate of Georgetown Law in '82. Now Braswell stays on the floor as we are under the 6-minute mark. Scruggs. Samnick looks inside for Scruggs. He's guarded by Voskuhl. Double team comes from Voskuhl. The shot no good. Out of bounds. Off Georgetown. And a reminder that Ohio State St. John's coming up next on these CBS stations.
Yeah, for Georgetown, Braswell's had a good game, and Scruggs and Boomjay here in the second half. But Samnick, Victor Samnick and Jamel Watkins, only 2 points. You would hope that you would get a little bit more contribution on the offensive end.
There's the entry pass to Elamine. Left side. That's the 3. Nope. Rebound Samnick, Georgetown. Now Burton got it.
One of the few times in the second half that Georgetown has been able to get the ball up the court before the defense gets set. And what a mean pick by Jake Voskuhl. Boy, that hurt me. And Hunter wants to rub his head. I can tell he wants to rub because he hit it pretty hard.
Oh boy, he never saw the pick set.
Never saw it coming. And whoever is guarding Voskuhl should have been up there saying pick, because that, my friend, was a knockout. Here it comes again. You're going to see Voskuhl set the pick. Nothing wrong with his pick, just not enough communication. The defensive guy should have been up there saying, look, there's a pick coming.
And a technical foul called on Craig Eschrick. Georgetown.
Well, Coach Eschrick not happy with the pick, but I must tell you, Jake Voskuhl did nothing wrong there. His feet was set. There was not enough verbal communication from either Ruben Boomshay, the guy who was guarding Jake Voskuhl should have been up there saying, look, there's a pick coming, because Voskuhl just had his hands low and his shoulders square. Hunter was at full speed, and that's just like running into a Mack truck.
Voskuhl hits them both, and the margin is now 15. Now El-Amin at the free throw line.
Jake Voskuhl went over to Demetrius Hunter and said, look, sorry you went down hard, but I just set a good pick.
.35 of 40 from the free throw line for UConn.
You look at Georgetown, 15 and 20. That's not bad, but 35 of 40. Be very interesting to note that's a record high.
Nearing the 5-minute mark. 17-point UConn lead. Voskuhl. Beauty.
Oh, what a pretty move. Footwork. Boy, he really understands the physics of the game in the paint, getting good spot, and then the little lefty jump hook over the extended arms of Ruben.
El-Amin with the steal and the layup.
Boy, he's having fun. There's nothing more desirable than to see a young man having fun and passionate about his game. Off the steal, and Perry thought he was going to throw it off the board again. You see how he fades away. El-Amin goes in uncontested, and boy, he's having fun here in the second half.
There's Boomche guarded by Voskuhl. Braswell. Voskuhl comes to help. Another takeaway. Here's El-Amin. Pulls up, cans, and takes the jumper. Too strong. Braswell. Perry spots up for three. Freeman, nice job keeping the ball alive and getting the rebound.
With Georgetown, a great offensive rebounding team, have not been able to get inside position on UConn. Freeman, Voskuhl doing a good job of eliminating the second shots of Georgetown.
Freeman, here's Voskuhl again. This time he goes to his left. And comes across midcourt with a huge smile. Off the glass in the lane. Braswell with 21 points now, 85-64. That stops a 10-0 UConn run. But they're well in command with 3:10 to go.
And it's been all Khalid El-Amin in the second half, taking over, scoring. Jake Voskuhl on the inside.
Boomche. This will be free wide for Samnick. Robertson taken down by Boomche. 4 fouls on Boomche. Robertson gets the first. He'll shoot one more.
There's a penetration by Robertson. Good crossover move, and there's a foul.
And Jake Voskuhl is going to get the rest for the remainder of this one. The free throw barrage continues. Well in command now, leading by 21. 87-66 coming next. Third game of our triple header on CBS. Ohio State in Madison Square Garden to take on St. John's. Kevin Braswell gets it to Burton. Now Demetrius Hunter. Finds Burton, who takes the three-pointers short. On the floor, into the hands of Suleiman Wan and Khalid El Amin. UConn's going to go to 13-3 and even its Big East record at 2-2 as they fly up to Syracuse tonight after the game. They'll work on in Syracuse tomorrow and they'll take on the Orange Men on Monday night. Robinson back outside. They're working the clock.
And anytime you lose a game, you want to come back with a lot of intensity. Connecticut losing to Georgetown came back in here with a game plan, and they really carried it out. Meanwhile, Georgetown could have used a big victory over a ranked team like UConn that would have helped them later on in the NCAA tournament start.
Braswell, that's off Suleiman Wan, so Georgetown will keep control. It's the 13th consecutive road victory for UConn. Big East record. 2 losses at home, as we said, Notre Dame and St. John's. They get home for a couple of games against Providence and Seton Hall. Edmund Saunders all the way, lays it off the glass and in, and is fouled as he takes that trip. Well, our Chevrolet most valuable players of the game, Jake Voskuhl for Connecticut with 15 points, 6 rebounds and 3 blocks. And Kevin Braswell, 21 points for Georgetown. Chevrolet will make a contribution to each school's general scholarship fund to reward academic achievements and assist those in financial need. 1:45 remaining, and Edmund Saunders at the free throw line. Saunders gives UConn a 90-point total for the game. He's in double digits with 10. Braswell, that's for 2, just inside the line. Hunter picks up El Amin. 90 seconds to go.
There is no pressure in this kid. Khalid El Amin, you know, you're not going to take it away from him as he demonstrates his Marcus Haynes curly nil.
Oh, you're dating yourself. Saunders taken down by Scruggs and then helped up by Scruggs. And again, a reminder that the next up already underway from Madison Square Garden, Ohio State and St. John's. Rematch of a regional final a year ago. Won by Ohio State. They are in the Garden and they have begun play. Saunders at the free throw line. If he makes this, he would have tied a school record for free throws made. He's got one more chance to equal the mark. Didn't. 0 for 2 at the line. Here's Braswell. Little runner, short. Rebound comes down to Robertson.
One thing about Braswell, he's such a great scorer and creator. Sometimes he leaves his other teammates on the perimeter spectating. But with this late in the game, I don't think anybody's thinking they're going to come back.
40 seconds to go. 14 on the shot clock.
UConn was able to come in and play their game. They played some great defense tonight. Took Georgetown out of their offensive game today. Only Braswell was productive for Georgetown. Jake Voskuhl very instrumental along with Saunders, and that was it for UConn. They started the half-court press and took Georgetown tempo away.
Coming from CBS. 92-71. Shot clock off.
Big win for UConn to get back on track after the loss to Georgetown. And as you mentioned earlier, very successful on the road. And teams that went on the road can go a long way.
UConn outscored Georgetown 50-37 in the second half. UConn wins it big. So for James Worthy, I'm Vern Lundquist saying so long from the MCI Center, where UConn has